Have you ever had your whole day ruined by one single comment? Someone says something stupid, and suddenly you can't think straight. You lose sleep, lose focus, and worst of all, you lose control. You try to act calm on the outside, but inside, you're fighting a war, overthinking, replaying, reacting. Now pause. What if I told you the most powerful people you know, they feel those emotions too? But the difference? They don't let it own them. Because power, real power, isn't loud. It isn't reactive. It's silent. It's calm. It's unshakable. And the people who master that mindset, they move through life like nothing bothers them. Because nothing does. In this video, I'm going to show you how to become that person. The one who commands respect without saying a word. The one who never lets the outside world break the inside. This is not just mindset, this is mental armor. And once you put it on, you're untouchable. Let me ask you a question. When someone says something disrespectful to you, what's your first instinct? Do you lash out? Do you shut down? Do you start rehearsing your comeback in your head for hours? Now imagine the same situation, but this time you just smile. You feel nothing. You move on as if their words never even entered your mental space. That is the nothing bothers me mindset. And no, it's not about being cold. It's about being in control. See, most people believe that reacting emotionally makes them real, honest, authentic. But that's not authenticity, that's emotional slavery. They're not expressing who they are. They're expressing who controls them. You shout because someone pushed a button? Guess what? They now have the remote to your life. And you handed it to them. Willingly. That's what this mindset destroys. It takes the remote back. Picture this. You're at work. Your boss criticizes your idea in front of the whole team. Your face flushes. Your jaw clenches. Your chest tightens. You feel like exploding. But instead, you pose, you nod, you ask a calm question to clarify their concern. Suddenly, you're not the weak one. You're not the emotional one. You're the leader in the room. Not because you had the best idea, but because you had the best reaction. That's power. Napoleon Hill wrote, "You have absolute control over just one thing, your thoughts." But here's the secret no one talks about. Your thoughts are only as strong as your ability to manage your emotions. Because when emotions rise, logic falls. When you're angry, fearful, insecure, your best thinking disappears. You say things you regret, you do things that hurt you, you destroy momentum over a moment. That's why this mindset isn't just a mental trick. It's a foundational skill for success. Think of the most powerful people you admire: Kobe Bryant, Jocko Willink, Warren Buffett, Michelle Obama. Calm, calculated, composed. They don't react to every insult on Twitter. They don't lose sleep over gossip or criticism. They've trained themselves to respond with power, not react with weakness. And it's not because they're emotionless. It's because they have something far more valuable than the need to be right. They have purpose, and purpose protects peace. Now think about your life. How many times have you lost hours, even days, obsessing over something someone said? You rehearsed arguments in your head. You overanalyzed text messages. You looked in the mirror thinking what you should have said. And for what? That moment is gone. But it still owns your energy. That's the tax you pay for letting little things bother you. But here's the truth. What you don't react to can't control you. So no, nothing bothers me doesn't mean you feel nothing. It means your focus is too valuable to waste. It means you've learned that peace is power and control begins with silence. From now on, you're not going to be triggered. You're going to be trained. And in the next section, I'll show you exactly how to take back that control moment by moment. Let's face it, most of the pain we feel isn't from what happens, it's from how we react to it. Think about it. It's not the criticism itself that destroys you. It's the overthinking that follows. It's not the breakup that ruins you. It's the story you keep telling yourself every night about why it happened. It's not the failure that defines you. It's the shame you attach to it long after it's over. You're not being attacked. You're being tested. Tested to see if you'll respond from pain or from power. Because the truth is this: the world isn't out to get you. The world is out to reflect you. Whatever you give it, it gives right back. You show up with chaos, it multiplies. You show up with calm, the storm settles. There's a famous story of the samurai and the insult. A warrior insulted a master samurai in public, trying to provoke him, humiliate him. The samurai said nothing, did nothing. Later his students asked, "Why didn't you fight him back?" The master replied, "If someone offers you a gift and you don't accept it, who does it still belong to?" The room went silent. That's what happens with insults. They only live if you carry them. Let me ask you, how many times have you carried someone else's anger, someone else's drama, someone else's poison, and made it your own? You don't need to raise your voice to show power. You don't need to win the argument to win the room. In fact, the loudest person is usually the least in control. Self-control isn't weakness. It's not repression. It's not passivity. Self-control is strategy. It's strength in its purest form. You see, emotional reactions are easy. Anyone can throw a tantrum. Anyone can argue. Anyone can flip out. But it takes discipline to hold your tongue. It takes wisdom to wait before you act. It takes character to pause. When every nerve in your body wants to strike back, that's not being soft. That's being bulletproof. Look at someone like Michelle Obama. Attacked, criticized, misunderstood, and yet always calm, graceful, measured. Why? Because she knows that how she reacts isn't just about her. It's about what she represents. And you represent something too. Your family, your future, your standard, your name. Don't let a stranger's ignorance drag you below your values. The truth is, every moment you react out of impulse, you're giving your power to someone else. You're saying, "You now decide how I feel, how I behave, who I become." That's dangerous, because if someone can control your emotions, they control your life. But if you pose, just for a moment, you take that control back. You tell the world, "I decide who I am, you don't." And here's what I want you to try today. When something triggers you, don't respond for 10 seconds. Just breathe. Ask yourself, 1, will this matter tomorrow? Number 2, is this aligned with the person I want to become? 3, am I reacting from fear or responding from power? If the answer feels wrong, stay silent. Walk away. Choose peace. Do it once it feels good. Do it often, it becomes who you are. You weren't put here to be a slave to your emotions. You were put here to rise above them, to lead, to influence, to set a tone. And when people see you stay calm under fire, they listen more, they respect more, they follow more. Because deep down, we all admire the ones who can stand still in a storm. And sometimes, the most powerful response you can give is none at all. In the next part, we're going to talk about something even stronger than words, silence. Because silence, when used right, is louder than anything else. Let's get one thing straight. In today's world, where everyone is shouting, posting, proving, seeking validation every second. There's one person who stands out, the one who says nothing. Not because they're afraid, not because they don't have answers, but because they know that the loudest in the room is rarely the one with real power. Let me tell you about Daniel. He worked at a company where meetings turned into ego battles. Everyone talked over each other, rushing to be heard. Daniel? He rarely spoke. When he did, it was measured, precise, intentional. People started to lean in when he opened his mouth, because his silence trained them to pay attention. By saying less, he made every word worth more. You see, silence is not emptiness. It's focus. It's restraint. It's presence. Most people can't handle it. They panic when there's space. They feel irrelevant if they're not heard. But the ones who master silence, they make space work for them. Think of a chess master. They don't move just to move. They wait, watch, observe. One move at the right time, and the whole board changes. That's what silence does. Maya was a designer, talented but introverted. Others showed off every project, fishing for compliments. Maya didn't. She let her work speak. One day, her design, simple, elegant, stunned the entire boardroom. No intro speech, no pitch, just results. After that, people asked how she did it. Her answer? I build quietly. That's how I move. And then there's people like Tom, a barista in a noisy cafe. Customers complain, co-workers gossip. But Tom, he smiles, works quietly, gets things done. One day his manager said, "You're the calmest one here, and the one I trust the most. Power doesn't need a microphone, it just needs consistency." Here's what people don't understand. Silence is not weakness. It's a filter. It lets you observe while others expose themselves. It lets you think while others waste energy defending opinions they don't even believe. And most importantly, it lets you disconnect from the need to be seen. What would happen if you stopped explaining yourself? Stopped proving your worth to people who don't matter? Would the world collapse? Or would you finally feel free? Let's talk about validation. It's like sugar, sweet at first, but addictive, shallow, and empty. You get a like dopamine hit, a compliment, momentary high. But when it stops, you start doubting everything. Was it not good enough? Do they still respect me? Am I falling behind? That's how external approval trains you to doubt yourself. Liam was a fitness coach. At first, he posted daily progress pics, motivational quotes. He lived for the likes. Then one day, he hit a wall. No likes, no comments, no shares. And he realized he'd been chasing applause, not progress. So it disappeared. Stopped posting. Just trained. Quietly, daily. 6 months later, he came back. Stronger, clearer, unbothered. People asked, "Where have you been?" He smiled and said, "I was doing the real work off camera." Napoleon Hill taught that the strongest minds are directed inward. That real confidence is built in silence, in solitude, in spaces no one sees. You don't need 1,000 eyes watching to grow. You need one reason inside yourself that doesn't fade when the room goes dark. So what happens when you stop chasing approval? You gain freedom. You choose your pace. You stop comparing. And most importantly, you start creating from truth, not insecurity. Let others chase noise. Let them dance for likes. You build in silence. You grow in the dark. And one day, you walk in with results that make the world go quiet. And now that you've learned to be still, let's take it one level deeper. Because silence is powerful. But to stay calm in chaos, to hold peace when everything falls apart, You need emotional detachment. Not coldness, but clarity. In the next part, we'll talk about how to let go of what you can't control and still move forward like nothing can stop you. Because that's how the strongest people live. Life is unpredictable. Plans fail. People disappoint. Things go wrong. And yet, some people remain calm, composed, centered, not because their life is easier, but because they've trained for the storm. The truth is, your mind is like a muscle. If you don't train it, it breaks under pressure. If you don't discipline it, it reacts to everything. If you don't take control, the world will. But here's the good news. You can train it. And when you do, you become unshakable. Elena was a paramedic. She'd seen chaos, accidents, panic, loss. One day, someone asked her, "How do you stay so calm when everyone else is losing it?" She smiled and said, "Because I rehearse chaos in my mind before it ever happens in real life." She wasn't born with calm. She trained it, day by day, moment by moment. Napoleon Hill said, "The mind becomes what it is fed." And what do most people feed their mind? Doubt, distraction, drama, doom scrolling. Then they wonder why they feel overwhelmed, anxious, weak. You can't plant weeds and expect roses to grow. 1. The 5-second rule. When emotions rise, don't react. Breathe, count backward. Tip, tip, then ask, what would the calmest version of me do right now? It breaks the emotional loop and reactivates logic. 2. Morning mind armor, 5 minutes daily. Before the world hits you, set your mental tone. 1 minute of silence. 1 affirmation, I am in control of how I respond. End of 1 question. What kind of energy will I bring today? This is not woo-woo. This is preparation. Just like you charge your phone, you need to charge your mind. 3. Journal the trigger. When something upsets you, don't just feel it. Write it down. What happened? What did I feel? What did I learn? By doing this, you move from reaction, reflection, response. You don't just survive the moment, you gain from it. 4. Visualization. The calm warrior. Close your eyes. Picture yourself in a high-pressure situation. A meeting, a breakup, a crisis. Now, imagine staying calm, breathing slow, speaking steady. Do this every day for 2 minutes. The mind doesn't know the difference between real and imagined training. So, when the real moment comes, you've already practiced it 100 times. This is how you build mental armor. Not with slogans, not with fake positivity, but with repetition, with daily deposits into your discipline, with showing up for yourself even when no one sees. Jordan used to break under pressure. Every time his boss criticized him, he'd shut down. Every disagreement turned into a meltdown, until one day he realized, if I don't take responsibility for my reactions, I'll always be a slave to other people's behavior. So he started training every day. 10-minute silence before work, reflection after conflict, reading 1 page of something that calmed his spirit. 6 months later, he wasn't just managing pressure, he was leading through it. And that's the goal. Not just to survive bad moments, but to lead through them. Not just to look calm, but to become calm. Not just to avoid storms, but to walk through storms with certainty. That is the power of a trained mind. So when the world shakes, you stay steady, because you don't rise to the level of your hopes, you fall to the level of your training. And in the final chapter, we'll talk about the ultimate discipline, letting go of what you can't control, and flowing like water no matter what life throws at you. No matter how hard you try, some things will never go the way you planned. The job you wanted, gone. The person you loved left. The opportunity you chased closed. And the harder you fight reality, the more it drains you. We've all been there, trying to force someone to understand us, trying to hold on to something already slipping away, trying to control the outcome of something we were never meant to hold. But here's the truth. Peace doesn't come from controlling more. It comes from letting go of what was never yours to control. Marcus was an entrepreneur. He lost everything in a recession: clients, investors, reputation. At first he resisted, tried to force things to bounce back, pushed, struggled, burned out. Then one night he wrote in his journal, "I can't change the market, but I can change me." That shift from resistance to redirection saved him. He let go of the old plan, adapted, pivoted, reinvented. Today he's back, stronger, clearer, lighter. Letting go isn't giving up. It's choosing peace over force. It's choosing progress over perfection. It's knowing when to hold on and when to flow forward. Like water. Water doesn't resist obstacles. It flows around them. It adapts. And over time, it shapes the rock itself. Think about your life right now. Where are you wasting energy? Fighting something that isn't changing? Where are you still clinging? To a version of the past that's already gone? Who are you still trying to impress, fix, or convince? When deep down you know, it's time to let go. There's power in surrender, not to defeat, but to truth. Because once you accept that you don't control everything, you gain power over what truly matters. Your mindset, your actions, your peace, your path forward. Sophia wanted to be a world-class pianist. She practiced every day for years. Then, after an accident, she lost movement in her left hand. She went silent for months, devastated. But one day, she sat at the keys again and started composing with one hand. It wasn't the path she imagined, but it became the one she was meant for. Today, her music is played all over the world because she didn't cling to the dream, she evolved it. That's what letting go really is. Choosing growth over grief, flowing, not folding. Not every loss is the end. Some losses are just redirections from what's comfortable to what's calling you. You cannot control every outcome. You cannot control every person. You cannot control every twist in the road, but you can always control your focus, your reaction, your values, your consistency. You'll come back. So let go of what weighs you down and rise lighter, sharper, wiser. You've just walked through the fire with me. You've learned to stay calm. You've learned to speak less. You've learned to train your mind. You've learned to respond with power. And now you've learned to let go and trust your path. Because when nothing controls you, you're free. And when you're free, you're unstoppable. And hey, if you felt something shift today, if even one part of this video made you pause, reflect, or breathe deeper, then this channel might be the place you didn't know you were looking for. Here we're not chasing trends. We're building something timeless. Mindset, mastery, mental freedom, inspired by the principles of Think and Grow Rich and live through the lens of real life. If that speaks to you, subscribe, not for me, for the next version of you, because this is just the beginning.